Here we are. Welcome down to the shop for episode 98. Getting right up there now.
Getting there.
Episode 98, 3 films left. As we go through my 100 favourite films of all time. As we've done with all of the last ones, we will be rolling the dice to see which movie in my top 6 we're going to go through.
Yep.
But first, obviously, we have to invite our guest in.
Yes.
And Rob has come back down from the into the shop. Welcome
From the
back.
Shire.
Thanks very much. A pleasure to be here, I think.
Yeah, wait.
Just, you
reserve
never
judgment.
Well, I think at least 2 films that I know that you've seen. One of which is in your top 100 yourself.
You
and
keep
is
spouting this. This is live.
And is the 7 hour
Taiwanese film.
7 hour Taiwanese film. Funnily enough, only the 4th longest film on the list I found.
Really?
I went through it. Yeah, I went through the list. Actually, there's
What's
3.
longer?
Obviously, all 3 Lord
I was
of the
going to
Rings.
say, there's got to be some muppet who's been invited to the other 3. Then.
Yeah, probably you, Rob. Probably got all of them. Yeah. You know what he's like. He's vindictive like that.
Doesn't just like to take up your time. No, all 3 Lord of the Rings, obviously longer. Malcolm
okay.
X, way longer.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
So,
A lot more to say,
yeah.
I guess, in that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll wait and see. So, Rob, did you bring a DVD back? I know that your returns policy has been a bit sketchy over the course of the series. So.
Not so much. But I did watch Saturday Night Fever over the weekend. So that's the
Ooh.
one I'm going to bring back. I've never seen it before.
Oh, really?
What do you
What did you
think?
think?
Yeah. I don't think it stood up
Oh,
in the test of time by
Bad
any
times.
stretch.
I
Yeah,
think
okay.
that's
Yeah, I
a
think
nice
it-
way
yeah.
of saying that.
It is, yeah. It was a bit of a shock, some of the
Oh.
stuff. So, yeah. So we won't go into that
Okay.
any further.
We'll stay
But that
away
would be
from
my
that one.
return.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we'll put that into the
Bin.
into the bad 70s.
The large
film
section
shelf.
of bad
Yeah.
70s.
and
Yeah.
and we've had Scarecrow in there this year as well, which was almost as brutal, but was supposed to
Yeah.
be brutal. So,
So
well,
what's left,
I know
Andy?
that.
Are you going to give us a little description of the 3 that are left, so that just to
Yeah,
whet Rob's
yeah.
appetite before he gets one?
Well, we have different ways to describe them. We have 2 Oscar winners and a 7 hour. Well, I think it won the it didn't win the Palme d'Or. It won Best Director at Cannes. So
Okay.
we have the Best International Film, Best Screenplay, and then the Best Director at
Okay.
Cannes Film Festival. So
See how we
highly
set you up there, Rob?
decorated.
He's telling you other people
that
think they're
sounds
good.
so promising.
Yeah.
So it's not just me that like these
Yeah.
films. They
Yeah.
have got critical
Exactly.
acclaim as well.
All of those old white men on the Oscars panel, they all like these films.
I mean, that's the Oscars way.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we can compare box office. Although I'm not sure that we have box office for one of them. So we'll roll the dice.
Here we
So obviously only 3 films left. So we can do the
Good luck,
maths
Rob.
way easier now. So 1 and 2 will be one of them. 2 and 3 and 4 will be another one, and 5 and 6 will be another one. And I'll roll the dice now. This is
What
so
is it?
exciting as a podcast format. I'm just not sure why.
I've never looked
so many
more
other
likely
people.
to that noise.
I feel like this is going to spell on a wave, but
It's going to
so
be
we've
like
got
ASMR. It was just going to be you like continually letting the dice like go. Soothing. 3.
so we have a 4,
Ooh.
which brings us back to a film made 25 years ago
Ooh.
called Almost Famous.
Oh, you've lucked out there, Rob.
The Taiwanese 7-hour movie.
You've lucked out.
Yeah. So the year 2000s. Almost Famous.
Nice.
Rob, initial reactions. Have you seen this film? Do you know this film?
Yeah, I have seen it. But I'll probably sort of echo Kev's usual thing. Yeah, no, I've definitely seen it. And I can remember sort of the DVD cover, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what happens in it.
Okay.
I'm sure it was on one of our lists one year.
It might have been a rewatch. Yeah. Kev. Know
I've seen
anything
it.
about...
Echoing Rob's points. No,
Talking about old white men.
Exactly. No, I remember a little bit more about it. Is it Kate Hudson? Is she the main?
Kate Hudson,
Yeah. Kate Hudson. And because they had that TV show came out recently on Amazon Prime. What was it? It was like a musical one, like
High School Musical.
No, it was like it's about music. Sorry, it's like Betty and the Drives or something like that. That sort of construction of sentence. I can't remember what it was called, but I watched that. Oh, Daisy and the
It was good, wasn't it? Memorable.
Six and something.
Daisy and the
Wasn't
Six. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So
that
we got
was
that.
very reminiscent of this. That same sort of thing of groupies following these bands around, and I guess it's quite interesting as well because I don't know if you have the same. Do you have the same now? I mean, I guess maybe you do somewhere, but it doesn't feel like you have the same sort of setup now because everything's so manufactured. But
it's just difficult to get tickets for multiple concerts.
Yeah, exactly. It's just expensive. Yeah,
days.
you can't be a groupie. You've been priced out of the market.
Yeah, exactly. If you're on Ticketmaster, you only get the chance to get tickets at the start, and then you have to go to the back of the queue.
So yeah, I do remember that. Also, my company actually did the musical of this.
Yeah, the musical.
There's a signed poster by Cameron Crowe himself in the building. So a little bit trivia for you.
Nice.
Not necessarily helped my knowledge of the film, but added a bit of something.
You're gonna go in and just read the poster and be like, no, that doesn't help at all.
That's what it's about.
Or next time you walk past it with a coil, you go, oh yeah, I remember in this film where Kate Hudson.
And they're like, that film.
This was covered in a podcast that maybe you should listen to.
Yeah, nice.
Well, Cameron Crowe's an interesting one. Yeah, written and directed by Cameron Crowe. Apparently sort of autobiographical about Cameron Crowe as well, which maybe we'll get into. But I think Cameron Crowe is an interesting director because I think it is a bit like there was a time when Cameron Crowe was like almost sort of coming through and looking like he was going to be the next big thing, and it was kind of around this time. Obviously, Say Anything as a sort of debut is a cult, like teen classic. Yeah. Although, as I think we spoke about on Ferris Bueller, I watched it quite late, so didn't get into it as much. But then Jerry Maguire, then Almost Famous, then Vanilla Sky, and then Elizabethtown, all within sort of 9 years, where basically he got to the top and then disappeared completely from view, almost within sort of three movies, because Jerry Maguire was huge and was like a moment.
Oh,
and then
it was massive, right? Even now, you still remember the quotes from it.
Yeah, no, it was like
like Rob, you were just about to say one. What was it?
You are my father.
Yeah, you had me at hello.
You see, that's the thing. Kev remembers the romantic bits of these films. So, and then you had this, which sort of became quite cult straight away. Actually, it did awfully at the box office. No one went to watch it at all. It completely bombed at the box office, but then kind of got a cult following quite quickly. And then Vanilla Sky was kind of like an interesting cruise, where I think everyone kind of went to see Vanilla Sky, but no one understood what on earth was going on. Yeah. And then like Elizabethtown just completely bombed again. Yeah, right. And then he's down to We Bought a Zoo, sort of 6 years later. So
up and down.
An interesting. an interesting career of just like the heights of Jerry Maguire onto this. Vanilla Sky was a bit like, oh, your next one needs to be good, and then the next one wasn't good. So
it was a height rather than heights.
Yeah.
He's actually been average, but he had one good film.
It just shows you, right? Like how difficult it actually is to just, be, and I guess, when we've had some on here, well, they've had like stretches of maybe great films in like a 10-year span, and you're just like, that's actually hugely impressive. I mean, John Hughes, I think, right? There was like, he was just pumping them out left, right, and centre, and but then it's so easy to just lose, who your audience is, and what's the flavour of the month, and then all of a sudden, boo, you've made a film that no one wants to watch.
Yeah, it's probably harder for a director as well, isn't it? Because like those actors obviously had their purple streak and done really well, but they can almost play the same role in 6 different films. Where a director, you're doing well to churn out the sort of the same stuff, I guess.
Yeah, and you're very reliant on the actors themselves, because like even with Vanilla Sky, if he was after Almost Famous, he was a bit like, well, okay, we'll get like Cruise back in, and that was like very much of the time of like Eyes Wide Shut and Magnolia and Vanilla Sky. There's kind of a through line there with them of like him acting a bit more and sort of going against type. But then like he was a little bit on the wane then, and obviously he's come back now. But then almost like Minority Report sort of came out the year after, and everyone was like, oh no, he should just be an action star, like we don't really want to see him acting. And then as a director, you're a bit like, oh, okay, well, I thought like, I thought that maybe my film was going to be the one where he then got the Oscar, or that he was good. And so you're so reliant on everything else as a director that
it's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he's got lots of crews in his films, hasn't he? And then boom, he's gone. He's MIA. That was just for you guys.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You've been saving that one for 98.
Oh, I go and refill the shells while Kev's going on it.
Yeah.
He's human, right?
So the year 2000, right? So what made it? Why is it on the list? I mean, obviously we know you secretly are a groupie for Taylor Swift, but what was the rationale?
Yeah, so I have very vivid memories of watching this on DVD just in sort of like 2001. I just moved to London, and I was watching it with probably about 20 other people in my house that we'd kind of moved into, and like no one else was really paying attention.
Hold on.
And I was watching.
We've got to stop there. This just sounds like you're describing. Is this actual reality, or are you just describing old school? Because that's a movie, Andy.
we then went streaking, and
no one joined me.
We're going to start singing.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg was there as well.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it was the Bohemian Life.
Yeah.
God, so many references to other films on the list.
It's a benefit of doing 98 podcasts, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, forcing, Rob listens to them all. Unlike
that's great. The
sends me to sleep.
Continues. Oh wow. True though.
So there, and I was watching it, and it is sort of a little bit of a throwback to maybe like a teen movie where the main character is a teenager sort of finding his way in life. There is a sort of, it's not a high school movie, but I think there is a bit of a
close.
the years the summer after high school or something like
high
that, where you sort of you're living your best life, and basically like no one else was paying any attention. They were messing about, and I even like some of my close friends who I used to watch all of those high school movies with, and that we all sort of loved the same movies. And the film finished, and I just sort of sat there almost like, that was a really great film, and looked around, and like no one else had almost figured out that it had finished. So
is it really that there was a party in your house and you were just watching TV?
Oh my God!
I wish
It's all becoming real. Now we
There's
see
like
the
fast
reality.
forwarding like round you, everyone like going on, and you're just sitting there like the
Yeah. You want to? Yeah.
poltergeist
Should we
staring
talk
at the
about?
TV.
Oh no. I'll just sit down. Yeah.
I mean, there was a bit of music, there was some food. No, people would
great.
come around to watch the film. That's what was so
Oh, wow.
annoying about it. And so, yeah, it made.
I mean-
they didn't watch it properly. That you just can't. You just can't trust some people.
You just can't get the
They
friends
didn't have
these
a
days, can
notepad. They weren't taking quotes down. Ridiculous.
you? Yeah.
And I said, for the first time,
That was
maybe
it.
I should do a podcast.
Yeah, that was the beginning, and this has all been a revenge, all up to episode 98. Go on, start calling them
So I've
out.
got
You've
the
got the
list
list
of-
there.
I've got the list of names that we're going to go through.
Here we go.
Andy's origin story.
Oh, this works so well as well. We've just done Grosse Point Blank, the reunion, and now this. Here we come.
Just
Oh.
all comes together.
And so, how many times
yeah,
have you seen
so
it? Then? Roughly,
I've seen it.
not a lot.
I've seen it probably probably like 10
Yeah, okay.
15 times.
So it is.
So, but we do have to talk about so there's two different versions.
What,
There is
really?
the theatrical version, and then there is like the director's cut, which is
Okay.
actually called Untitled, but is the director's cut. Because so not allegedly, like, so this is based on Cameron Crowe's life. So basically he was like a child genius who then skipped grades. There's a story from his mum that he was supposed to go into 5th grade, but the classrooms got sort of signed wrong, so he went to 6th grade for like 3 weeks before anyone noticed. But he was actually, he'd made some friends, and he was able to do all of the work. So then they just kept him in 6th grade, and they just like skipped a year just because he went to the wrong classroom.
There you go. Kids don't know how ezy they
yeah.
are now. You know.
He's
Yeah,
very
exactly,
intelligent, but he wasn't too good at map reading.
Yeah.
So then he's done like a director's cut, which just isn't as good in my opinion. Like it's longer, and just isn't as good. So I think we have to say that make sure that you're watching the theatrical copy of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the director's cut is just a bit longer. But yeah, I've seen a lot of time. I think it's interesting because it is a very 2000s look at the 70s.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there are some question marks over it, but it was the 70s, and almost it was the 2000s looking back at the 70s. So I think some of the question marks aren't explored in the same way as they would be now, for sure. It is a dated film. But I watched it a little while ago. I think I watched it maybe like 6-7 years ago, maybe or even like 4 or 5 years ago when it was on a list for the film as a rewatch. And actually, I thought that it had stood up okay. And I was concerned that it was just going to be hideously out of date. But you know,
It doesn't sound
did,
like you're
as I say,
convincing me this is a top 6 film on your list, Andy. I feel like this is
No,
the one
well,
that's
that's
going
the
to
thing.
drop to
When I
minimum
watched
13.
Well, when I watched it, I know it was, I still really enjoyed it, and it was really good because I do think like the group, it is an ensemble, and like the group dynamics within the band, and then with the kind of the other characters, I think is really good and is really strong. I do think it's interesting with the female characters, like all of the female characters essentially do have the power and are almost in charge, but they sort of use that power to like promote the male characters, and that's like obviously that's kind of the dynamic of the groupies, but it's also almost sort of the dynamic of William and his mum as well. So I think that's an interesting aside. And then it is another, as we've said on I think a couple of films, it is another time where Philip Seymour Hoffman in like 7 minutes just absolutely like steals his scenes and is just and it's just absolutely amazing. So it's interesting because obviously Philip Seymour Hoffman and Frances McDormand kind of massive stars and do really well. No one else really went on to do a lot of stuff. I mean, not discounting My Name Is Earl, which I know is a favourite of Rob's. So,
yeah, Jason.
But no, well, you look at Kate Hudson. I think Kate Hudson became famous for being famous. If you look at the rest of her films, there's not even it's not that there's not an Oscar winner there. It's almost like that. Even the rom-coms, they didn't do particularly well. Like she's in a couple with McConaughey, and they didn't make good box office, and she's still around. She's still, I presume, that she's producing and stuff now, but it's not like she went on to being like the #1 rom-com of the year or anything like that. So I wouldn't. There's an argument that this is like her most beloved film or her most popular film, even though
she
it doesn't
doesn't make
very
it
well. And
into your top 100 rom-coms.
no, all of her rom-coms are awful.
Not even How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, here we go. Kev's going to name like 27.
Season 2.
Specialised subject. Mastermind. Here we go. Yeah.
He's basically been 2 years of gaslighting, and season 2 is going to be wall-to-wall rom-com.
It is.
You thought I liked
rom-coms.
action? No, it's just Kate Hudson and
little did you know,
splitting up with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, you're definitely not selling this in anymore now. You're like, no one's gone on to do anything. Kate Hudson's fairly average. I don't know if I really like this film. Should we watch it, or should we just bypass it?
Well, to finish that off, Dude, Where's My Car made more money at the cinema than this film.
I think that's a concern on the audience than the film. Yeah. So, I feel like last week I really sold the film well. I think this one I want to downplay it. Sell it badly? Because that's what you've done.
Yeah. No,
I don't want this film.
You have to.
I'm not watching it.
Neither of you listened to me before watching a film anyway, did you?
This is true. This is true.
Unless you're paid to.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank Athletic Greens for their sponsorship.
Oh, sweet.
Spoiler alert, we don't have a sponsor. That's been me all along.
Yeah. No, it's not really Athletic Greens. What is it?
He's saying this is mint from the garden.
Yeah.
Poppy keeps coming in. Where's my green crayons? No, I don't know. It's weird. There wasn't any in those packs. Yeah. So
all right.
It'd be.
Well, you've definitely not sold it
interesting.
So great. Can I just request for the three-day Taiwanese film? Can you just sell that in a little bit harder, just so that I'm a little bit pumped before I watch it?
Well, that's going to be the sell of all sales, obviously.
I think.
But this is this is 2-hour film. I think it's great. Like again, like absolutely great soundtrack from the 70s. Obviously, Rob, you were sort of there, so it'll be interesting to get your perspective a bit more than us, who this is ages after we were born.
I can see you as like the Kate Hudson character, Rob.
Yeah, it's very true. And her mum was my pin-up back in the day. I was always a fan of Goldie.
There you go. All roads lead back.
Cool. Well, we'll with that, I hope the snacks are good. We'll put it on with low expectations.
Should we just put it in 13 now?
Everyone get ready.
Oh my God.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if there's a shock in store after the jump.
"13" is my one-word answer. There's no way this can be in the top 10.
Oh, there we go.
Ever. Out of every film ever
I wondered where you were going.
This has to drop out of the top 10.
I'm with you, Rob.
It doesn't deserve
It's an
top 10.
obscure house reference.
I know. I was like, "What? Your favourite number?"
Unlucky for
What the
some.
hell? Yeah, nice. I mean, I think you're generous, Rob, but We'll find out.
Yeah. I don't want to have to
good.
listen
It's
to
always-
the others to find the gap.
That's true. That's true. You don't want to mess up the OCD.
It's obviously good that you can decide what my favorite movies
It's
are.
just like your childhood
Well,
all
especially
over
'cause it-
again. You will watch this program, Andy. You
Well,
do
we'll
like
get into
this
that
program.
Yeah, especially as this used to be your number one favourite film.
I guess we'll get into it, right?
I think.
Yeah, not. I don't think this has ever been number one.
I should just say something now, just to caveat this. So remember in part 1 when we talked about there was the cinematic cut, which was about 2 hours, and then there was the director's cut that you said, Andy, that was horrific and terrible. That's about 2 hours and 40 minutes. Forgot about that. Ended up watching the 2 hours and 40 minutes version. So look, my notes might be skewed a certain way. There were some scenes I was like, I'm sure I've never seen this before. I'm thinking, oh, my memory's getting really bad, but I may not have seen it before. So look, caveat that before we go. But I couldn't then watch the 2 hour after that 2 hour 40. So I was like, yeah.
Oh, where's the dedication?
I know.
To the
I was
pod?
like, could I
Just go,
watch it as well?
Now I'm going to watch the
Oh.
extended edition. Now I'm going to watch the original.
No, I think
theatrical.
that was my sort of reaction.
Okay.
I put a nice yarn, so it's like a nice sort of story.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 hours 40 was my version did drag a bit. It's there are lots of good bits in it, but yeah, like I think with you, Rob, it's a good film. Wasn't like a great film, you know. If I think about the other
Yeah, it
ones
just didn't go
in the top
anywhere.
6 so far, yeah, I think you're right. I wouldn't, in my mind, my list. I wouldn't have had this compared to the others. But it'll be interesting to see how you thought, Andy, because obviously you've not seen it for a bit, so it'll be good to see if you think it still holds up for top 6.
Yeah, I think what it has is that kind of it gets the vibe or the feeling of like it's not even like the nights out, but like just that time where you don't have any responsibilities and there is like nothing but possibility, and there's just obviously like the notion of like touring with a band and what that means, and like fun enough, quite a lot of musicians, this is sort of very high up their list because they say it is actually, it captures what life on the road is like, almost sort of, better than everything else. But it is almost like the hedonism of, one hotel after another, and just kind of, no responsibilities at all, apart from like, turning up, getting electrocuted.
And mainly
and
travelling
leaving,
on
Jimmy Fallon
coach, right, with all your mates. So like, I mean, oh God, it's like when you're young, it's like a dream come true. We're just going to travel together and just go around and just play music in front of other people and get paid to do it. And you're like, what? You're going to do what?
Yeah, and I think that is still, for me, it still does have that, like, just that vibe of it captures that really well, where there's like it's not like nostalgia, it's kind of almost nostalgia in the moment, where you're just kind of like, you're with people, and especially like obviously from his point of view, from William's point of view, just kind of, I think, well, we'll get on to it in the questions about kind of the cool or uncool, but to be swept up in that and all of a sudden be like, exposed to this whole other world that everyone else sort of has lived in, but he hasn't lived in. I think, I think that has personal meaning to me as much as anything. But like, I do also think that they just kind of capture that, like that feeling of, kind of out on the road, doing whatever you want,
Did it remind you when you? Yeah, did it remind you when you used to come out with my friends when you were 15?
These guys are like rock stars. Like,
I mean, we'll get on to the cool and uncool
which instrument was Rob playing? Yeah.
It's funny because Mum used to say don't do drugs a lot to us as well. So.
Yeah. It's almost like a dramatization, right? Isn't it?
To be honest, I think
Like it's almost like it's
what of my childhood.
possibly, but like in the, like you said, it's almost like it, and I guess almost like it's almost a serious version of like This Is Spinal Tap. Like in that, you're right. It feels like it nails it so well on what that experience must have been and what that time must have been, that it almost feels like this is true. But obviously, it's just a movie. But I'm sure that obviously they use a lot of different sources to get it accurate.
Well,
but yeah, it does feel like you're watching a mini documentary in a way.
Yeah, and obviously, yeah, like this is sort of supposed to be like, pretty autobiographical from Cameron Crowe, right? He did go and tour with bands when he was very, very young. Like, there is definitely lived in experience there as well. So yeah, like I think it is. Yeah, it is kind of, even like the writing of the story is one thing. Like I do, and then I do just think, like getting that vibe. I think there were all good performances by kind of everyone. Everyone is a character and is quite a fully fledged character, even like the side characters. I mean, we'll talk about the main two performances of Cam and Stuart from Big Bang. I presume those are the two that we'll talk about. But I do just think and it's an interesting kind of one, doing it in 1973. So it is like almost sort of the end of the 60s, but like, almost
60s, doesn't it?
It feels very 60s, but it's like, and that's kind of obviously what Philip Seymour Hoffman's sort of talking about as the end of rock and roll, is the end of the 60s as it goes into the 70s, where, even like with reflection, it does get darker, and it is a bit more like questionable on many ways, and like the new girls coming in not using birth control. Like I do think that like it captures that transition quite well as well, where the 70s it does all sort of start to be a bit darker and a bit more questionable.
Well, that's the thing though, because I could watch it, as you say. It was a good yarn, Kev. It was so one of these you put on and you think, I'm quite happy watching it. But actually, when you sort of scratch below the surface, you've got a 15-year-old kid who's basically kidnapped, raped, and goes through. He gets front page of Rolling Stone, even though he hasn't actually sent any story to them. And so it just doesn't work. But I did quite like the music and sort of the band stuff. But that, but just William just irritated me. And the one scene where he's got to act, where he was acting about Penny Lane, I think he was average at best.
His performance in that. I think there's almost a trying to get too much.
Yeah.
I think that kind of,
you guys should have watched the 2 hours 45 minutes. It was way more room, loads of room to get stuff in.
Because I thought very early on the Jeff and Russell dynamic, it was sort of more noticeable for me this time around, and like they do kind of have that, and they are all friends, but although those two hate each other, and then the fact that Jeff is sort of always open to talk to William, like he's like, I'll talk to you, but Russell won't talk to him, and obviously I think this is a good tryout for My Name Is Earl. I would say
it's almost
he can't
the differential between Liam and Noel, isn't it? It's like Noel writes all the songs, and he's like, I know that I'm good, I don't need to talk to anyone. Where Liam's like, I'll do an interview with you. Let's go. Yeah. But I found that exactly the same. I wrote that as a point. I don't know if that's just because we're watching it now at a different age, which I'm sure it must be. But the dynamic between those two, I thought, was very interesting to me this time round. And just very much the fact that Russell, I just thought it was very interesting. Like Russell clearly everyone says he's much better. He's obviously much better than everyone else in the band. And he could go off by himself, but he's like, but I'm playing with my friends. So it's that what do? Do you continue playing with your friends but don't reach your potential, or do you leave them behind and become amazing but they're not there with you? And I thought they actually covered that off quite well, in which I'd never really appreciated previously when I'd seen it. I don't know what you guys thought.
There, Kev.
Enjoy that. Yeah,
I was just gonna say Alvin and the Chipmunks, the first song, that was rubbish. But
also that,
Well, funnily enough, Jason Lee is actually he ends up in the Alvin and the Chipmunks we done as well. So no, I think that's the thing. Like, and because that's I think the very Gen X part of the movie, right, is the same with Jimmy Fallon. When Jimmy Fallon comes in, it's, do you sell out? Is it about the money, or is it about the music, or is it about actually, hanging out and the chicks are cool? So I think that's like, yeah, I think they do. They're again, that's what they're trying to get across as well, is that whole kind of, yeah, are you doing it? Are you doing it for the music? And they have like the one performance where actually it all comes together and it's really great, and like they're all watching on. But then it's also about William, and it's also about like him growing up, and then like his family dynamic, and then Penny Lane in there as well. And it kind of,
they're all growing, aren't
just
they?
kind of, it does feel on this like, yeah, but like could it have been now it would be like a 10 episode Netflix series.
It's funny you should say that.
One film, because it's just a bit too much going on.
As mentioned in the in the part 1, Daisy and the Six. So there you go. It has become a 10 episode Netflix series. Well, I think it's on Prime, but yeah, it's yeah. So for you then, Andy. So obviously, me and Rob were saying that we probably would have it a bit further down. Like, how did you feel about it? Did you, obviously you must have some nostalgia attached to it as well, but did you feel like it still felt like a top 6 movie to you?
Yeah, I think it's up there. I mean, obviously with one of the top 10 having to drop out, then yeah, this is probably on the line as much as everything, because it did feel a bit more like there's everything that there's too much going on almost. But I do also think that as far as like a vibe or an emotion from a film, like you could tell the story and not be able to capture just like that freedom and kind of the atmosphere and that feeling of like, oh, you know, wouldn't it be cool to be there, to be in that band, not because like to be one of them, but as you say, just to be with your friends, to be traveling around, not to have any responsibilities, to be, you know, going on the bus or flying from one place to another, not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring, and just kind of, you know, living in the moment. It's almost quite zen in its way of just like, okay, well, it's just about now. It's just about the moment. And, you know, any consequences after that, you deal with the consequences. And I do think that the film captures that really well, of just like, we'll just live now and, you know, concentrate on that and kind of be.
Yeah, that's for me why
here.
It feels very 60s. Because it is, like you said, like the live now of like not know what's coming tomorrow. And very much in the 60s where obviously you'd gone through 2 world wars, you know, you were like rebuilding, and you're like, it was a free love, you know, decade. It's like, yeah, just enjoy the moment. You don't know what's around the corner. And that's why I felt it definitely felt a lot more sort of 60s vibe. And obviously, like, pot is like the main drug, which definitely feels like 60s. I'm like, pretty sure those rock and roll legends would be doing some other stuff at this point. So, but yeah, it was for me, like I said.
Yeah, and then
I was gonna say, I think it almost feels like watching it now. It just felt like almost a documentary. Like you said, I could just see this being like we followed a band in the 1970s, and this is a 10-part series on Netflix. I can totally see how you could pass this off as that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I do think like one of the all-time great soundtracks. Like they do get everyone on there. I do think it is a great soundtrack. I do think that, like, obviously the Tiny Dancer scene is like the famous one, and you know, brought that song back into you know, I don't think anyone knew it before this film,
really?
honestly. But then also, funnily enough, I think the Mona Lisa and Mad Hatter's Elton John song, where they're in New York and Penny's there, and they sort of they usher her out. I think that's almost like as emotional and as a sort of using the song to effect as well. And then you've got kind of all of the classics from the 60s and 70s, obviously.
And
It was a little bit we've covered this off in a couple of different films, and we said like suicide attempts in films and how they cover them off and how they deal with that sort of scenario. And I think one of the big ones we said was about The Breakfast Club, where they sort of cover it off quite well at the start, and then it kind of just they're like, we don't really know where to go, so we sort of laugh it off at the end and move on. This one was a bit strange, where she's had like the suicidal attempt and the doctor's there and they're really trying, and you've got the physical piece of actually showing her, and the doctors, they're trying to get a tube down her to like pump her stomach, and they're trying to do these things like an actual like real visceral reaction of like, this is concerning. And then you've just got William looking at her with Ma Cherie playing in the background, which
Yeah.
It feels a little bit weird. Oh, yeah, I really do love this girl that's about to die. He's just trying to commit suicide.
But I think that's. But I think that's also the thing where like he doesn't know her, like he thinks that he's in love with her, but it is a almost sort of 15-year-old love where you just like he doesn't know her at all apart from like the front that she's doing. So I do think like that's done on purpose to kind of
to illustrate that he's
to kind of show he's sort of still like all,
because no one else would be thinking
like he's all
my
googly
God,
eyes.
this is so romantic. Whereas you'd be thinking, holy crap, what can I do to make sure she doesn't die?
Yeah.
Whereas he's just sitting there going, wow, this is like our first date. It's like, that was a little bit weird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, first kiss again. Which is not good.
Right in the diary.
Let's get the kiss in.
I did write that down, Andy. You said there were no more unconscious kisses in these movies. There is one more.
And funnily enough, is this the worst one because there's no retribution? I was trying to think this one, and I think Dead Poets Society is pretty bad. But like in Dead Poets Society, he gets beaten up for it. Whereas in this one,
no one knows.
There's no consequences. Funnily enough, in the extended edition, is he walking her to keep her awake in like a park or in a
no,
or like outside?
He walks her in the apartment.
I was convinced that when he's trying to keep her. Yeah, that when he was trying to keep her awake, it was like outside in like a park or something. I was convinced of that, and I was watching it. It was like I don't remember it being.
Should we be a little bit worried? Is this art imitating life? Life imitating art? Where are you mixing reality and movies?
Well, it's hanging out with you two too much that my memory's going.
Oh, dude.
And the thing, I mean, the entire problem, like how problematic the film is captured in that when that William and Penny are talking to each other and about how old she is. And if she's 18, it's like problematic, but it's kind of fine. If she's 16,
I mean, then I don't know. She's 16. Do you? I think she must be in her 20s. Don't you think?
No.
She's just trying to agree with him. She's like, oh yeah, I'm 18. Oh yeah, I'm 17. Oh yeah, I'm like I didn't think that she's very knowledgeable and understanding like, what's going on, and she's concerningly, I guess she has been there previously.
Done it before,
so
she's retired.
Well, exactly.
She's
how
retired.
many years has she done it? Probably did so when she was 18, but I reckon she must be in her 20s, right?
That's the way that I read it, is that she's like at least 20. I mean, it's funny because then you think how old are the band, and actually I presume the band are only supposed to be like 21, 22 because but like obviously watching this in 2000, you're like, they look really old.
But they look like mid to late 20s at best, right? Maybe early 30s almost. Whereas she does look very young. So but I think it's good because I don't really feel a lot of the story is really about other aspects. It's not really about like Russell and Penny's sort of relationship. It's more about the dynamics of music in that generation and that point, and what it was like following people around that were on tour. Like I feel like they capture that pretty well. I don't think they go too deep on the other side. I'm sure there's probably much worse things that actually happen in those hotels that they cover. But I think it's quite a good. I did think the stories were good. I did like that bit.
Well, I think every. Yeah, I mean, because I think that's funnily enough, almost the creepiest bit is when Anna Paquin's saying goodbye to William in the restaurant, where she's like, "Oh, I'm going to Britain with I can't remember Thin Lizzy. There was
Deep Purple.
There was a band, and she's kind of and she's like saying goodbye, and almost they sort of linger on that in a sort of way that made me sort of think, is that that's a bit weird because her part is almost like it's such a side part, but they kind of linger on him saying goodbye to her, and you're just a bit like, oh, that's a bit weird. Is that supposed to be something? But like I think even with the hotels and stuff, that's the thing. Like he stops off and he sees people playing the music, and like it's just one person or it's two people like strumming a guitar, and I think that's the thing. Like I think that it probably talks to Cameron Crowe's experience of. Looking back at it and like all the drugs and the sex and everything else, but actually for the people who were there, it was about the music and it was about doing something free, as you say, like after after like the wars and the 50s, and like there
didn't know.
weren't teenagers before the 60s. Like you kind of you dressed the same as your dad,
Went to
and
war.
you were working by the time you were 16, you were married by the time that you were 20, and so there just wasn't like this teenage rebellion up until then. And I think that's what they like in the hotel rooms. Everything else is going on, but they are still always playing music, and music is what kind of actually they're all centered around. And for me, I think that works really well. Even though I'm not a musician, I really like music, but like I've never. That's the thing. Yeah, I've never been able to play. I've never done any of that, but I still get that sense of. For me, it's the creativity, right? And obviously, like, another writer's movie, which is a pretty clear through line through quite a few of the movies that I like. But it's that kind of observation of the music, and the music being centered to everything that's still
someone uncool in a cool environment. Well, just chucking that out there, Anne.
There are some great uncool quotes.
I only came out with you and your friends a couple of times.
Yeah, it's funny.
You were never that cool.
I mean, everyone thinks they're cooler than they actually are, aren't they? That's the reality of life.
I had the hair.
You don't remember the hair? Yeah. So funnily enough, so weirdly, when I came out here, one of my friends introduced me to someone so his dad used to be a musical promoter here, or he still is a musical promoter in Australia, but he did like back in the 70s and the 80s, and there weren't really many musical promoters at all, especially out here in Australia. So he was pretty much like the one in.
Was he one of the names that they say? Do you know?
Could have been
Bob Sharp.
Yeah.
Was it Angry Anderson?
But it's funny. I was watching this film because I've been out with this guy before, and I've seen him a few times, and he's shown me like different pictures and things. And so he showed me a picture, like so his dad got all of the bands out here. So there's a picture of this guy that I know as a baby with Sting like holding him. There's like a picture when he's a teenager with like Madonna. And it's funny, and like watching this film, I was like, God, this, because he tells me all this, he mentioned all these stories, and he's like, like exactly what you're saying, Andy. It was all just about the music, like you were making money, but it was, music was first, that's what it was all about. That's what they wanted to do. And obviously that's changed completely now. I don't know if we've got like X Factor to thank for that or what, or capitalism as a whole. But yeah, it was nice to sort of go back to a time where, people had a great, incredible gift, talent, and was sharing that with the world, and people were enjoying it. It was, I guess, Taylor Swift is the modern version of that. It's just cost you, 20 times the amount to go and see her for half the amount of time.
Let's see what her hotel rooms are like, and if there's as many people.
But
there
it was mad. Like, because I literally have seen photos of him, and I was like, God, it actually like really brought me back. I was like, wow, that must have been this reality this film that we're watching must have been pretty much like his reality. Like he'd mentioned these stories, and so it does feel very accurate. I mean, like I guess you don't really know, but unless you were there, but. Yeah, I do think it feels really accurate, and that's why I feel it feels more like a documentary to me, and that's why it feels good. But at the same time, it's supposed to be a film.
More so, like because obviously, but obviously, like we had Hidden Figures last week, like that's and that's sort of the early '60s, and then this is the early '70s, and both kind of in a more documentary style as well, I guess, right? More like. Reporting real people, or because that's what Almost Famous does really well. They talk about Bowie, and they're talking about real bands, and Stillwater is a made up band, but like
it could be.
There's a lot of real people around it.
There's a great quote I think in there. I remember I've got the line somewhere where I think it's Jimmy Fallon's character says something like, "Do you honestly think Mick Jagger will be playing concerts when he's in his 50s?" And I was like, "Try 80s, mate." yes, he will.
It's funny.
Just drops that in. Any questions then that you think it?
Well, I thought
it brings up. I mean, we've talked about
the
morality side.
I asked you both this question, and this was like I alluded to this earlier, but yeah, I mean, if you think about Russell, that everyone talks about he's much better than everyone else. You don't necessarily see that he's much better, but it's very much portrayed that he must be, and so that he could leave the band. So yeah, what would you guys do? I guess if you've got the talent. So do you share that talent with the world and become incredible, or do you stay with your mates and be, average to good?
Well, Spotify have been...
That'd be you. Is it where I find out? Yeah.
asking if I wanted to
do your own podcast.
Do a true crime.
Yeah. I was going to say the same. Have you not heard Rob and Carla's third season?
Damn, you've all got separate podcasts. Yeah, I mean, in this...
No, but I think that's... it's almost, like not being... It's kind of, I think, being true to your creativity, and that's the thing. I think.
Well, let me ask you this: is the answer different in the 70s than it is in 2025?
Yeah. Yes, for most people, because now
Yeah.
it's about making money. Everything's about making money.
Agreed.
Like, you don't have a hobby; you're supposed to monetize your hobby. You're supposed to have a side hustle. I was listening to another pod that was talking all about that, and he was like saying, it's a real shame people don't have hobbies anymore, because actually, like, having a hobby that you're not trying to make money is a really good creative space for your brain to be thinking about in a different way. And I think that's the thing. But also, you could be a mildly successful band and be touring the country back in the 70s and still evidently live. Whereas now, you wouldn't be able to do that, right? The petrol would be loads. You'd have taxes. You'd have, just even buying all of the snacks at the gas station.
Just your pot bill alone, that would be too high now. Yeah, it is a shame, isn't it?
Well, they talk about the fact that the price of pot, I think it is, hasn't gone up a lot, or maybe. It's one of the drugs. Apparently, it's almost like a measure of inflation. That actually it stayed as inflation goes up, supply comes in, especially to the US. I think in the article I was reading, and they said actually the price of this drug hasn't gone up, which is actually very concerning, because obviously it means that technically it's a lot cheaper now than it used to be.
Or great news,
or maybe
it depends what side you're on.
Yeah, I mean, I had Robert. So as far as the mother character was concerned, do you recognise any of the?
I'll just mute my mic. You guys go.
I did like "You're rebellious and undeserving of my love" line. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
I've had that in a Christmas card. I think actually once.
And on a T-shirt. Yeah, so I think the mum plays it quite well. Actually, I think she's quite funny, and then obviously reprimanding sort of on the phone call and stuff. So yeah, actually, I quite liked her character.
Yeah, no, she's. I mean, it's a great performance, because she has to almost be like, her and Philip Seymour Hoffman have to be like the sort of the straight, to have the comedy play off, and I think she's really good in it. Where she has sort of a lot of funny lines, or a lot of very harsh lines, but you can tell it's just because she cares about her kids, and that's obviously Frances McDormand, three-time Oscar winner, very, very good actress, and I think she's brilliant in it, because that could very easily be a pantomime villain, but she kind of brings it all, and I do love it at the end as well, and she's like, "I forgive you."
Unbelievable.
I didn't apologize. Just
everyone rolled their eyes at that point.
So there is a story as well, that because it is based on Cameron Crowe's mum, and sort of very similar apparently, and she was on set a lot.
Oh, wow.
And Cameron Crowe kept trying to keep them apart, because he says that he wanted Frances McDormand's performance not to be too influenced by sort of the reality of his mum. And then on the first day he sort of had to do a second unit thing, and he came back and they were having lunch together. Brilliant. And they just basically both ignored him, and he was just like, okay, great. And then funnily enough, I was listening to a podcast someone who had like, there's apparently a lot of extras on the DVD, which is Cameron Crowe's mum, and she passed away just before the film came out, and actually like he was really emotional. Like this podcaster was like really emotional about the fact that because she has contributed so much to the film and she didn't get to see it, which is really sad. So I do also the entire notion of cool, like. And what cool means.
You've not got it? And
yeah.
Are you going
to put up a bombshell? You're going to say.
So I'm going to bring on another guest to discuss this,
right.
obviously.
So you guys be quiet. I'll take this one.
Turn your baseball cap round the other way, Kev.
No, we're not having an arm wrestle.
Yeah.
But like, that's obviously, and it's come up in a few of the films as well, because I think it is like being cool. It does feel like a Gen X kind of thing.
Well, it's also that it's teenagers and kids, isn't it? Once you get past teenagers, no one cares. Like, no one understands or cares. Everyone's cool in their own way.
Is that what your mum tells you, Kev?
That's why that was the comment I was going for.
Well, I finally got there, exactly.
Don't worry, Kev, I love you for you. You don't have to be cool.
No, I'm cool in Australia. That's all that matters. Yeah, I mean, do you ever remember using the word cool past teenage years? I mean, like, other than mentioning the film?
But I'm almost interested. Is it still a thing even for teenagers?
I think
like,
it would
I don't
be,
know.
yeah.
I don't think. Well, but is it? Because I think cool was also like,
Maybe not the word.
as the mum character sort of says, is like about fitting in, or like there being like a cool group or something like that. And I do think people now are a lot more individual and want to like celebrate being individual a lot more. Obviously,
I'll ask my two. Oh no, I won't actually.
Yeah.
We need to find some cool kids. I don't know where we're going to find them, to be honest with you.
Let's get a van and just cruise around schools looking for cool kids.
Yeah. Hold on, this is sounding problematic. Not one of Andy's films. I think realistically, I'll be super surprised if there was any teenager who still didn't want to be connected with the so-called cool gang or the most popular gang. Like, it's just at that point, with like everything that's happening, all the hormones that are going through you at that time, I just cannot see that this wouldn't still be a thing. I still think that cool's something. Like, you still want to be, and I think it's almost maybe at that point, it's more so you want to be with other people. You know, you want to be in your group, and whether you're cool or not, I guess, you know, obviously you want to try and be cool so that people aren't taking the mick out of you, but yeah, I think you just, you know, you're so aware of everything, like you're over aware really of everything because you've got so many hormones going through your body that you just want to be like fade into the background. You don't want anyone to mention you or see you because you're so sensitive about everything. You're like, is your like right pinky fingernail longer than it should be? And you're like, what? I don't, stop looking at my fingers. Like, you know, and like ridiculous stuff that, you know, you would never think of. I remember when I was a teenager and I was in a supermarket with my mum, and I was just like, oh my God, cannot believe I'm in the supermarket with my mum. Everyone's looking at me going like, why is he here with his mum at the supermarket? Whereas obviously no one is thinking that at all. And it's just the strange things that you think of right at that point. You just, it's a bizarre time, but...
Well, without bringing sort of the double feature in, I wondered whether this was a prequel to Ferris. And actually, William then becomes cool and he turns into Ferris Bueller.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. Yeah.
Or even Cameron. I don't know how it
goes the other way.
He's more of a Cameron.
As we have discussed, it's Fight Club, really. Yeah. That's a good shout, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
I like this concept of moving from one movie world to the next movie world.
Well, I would just say that... Actually, I have gone and looked around to quite a few schools recently because
you should point out.
Get to the end. Get to the end.
Can you point out that your daughter's going to high school? It's not that you're just greedy.
I would say that the haircuts seems to have come full circle, to be honest with you.
Really?
I think these are like the it's not a mop top, but almost the sort of the longer all round hair.
So similar to what William has in this movie.
Yeah, well, and the band, a little bit shorter than the band, but I would say that Yeah, like it is almost like a mop top, like the Beatles had to begin with. So
Yeah.
I think cool it's just a cycle.
Is that why your hair is starting to grow out and it's getting a little bit longer, Andy? Is that...
I just want to be cool. I just want to be cool.
Trying to get your curtain back in, and
Oh my God, David Beckham.
There was a time.
Why did he introduce them? What about the deepfakes then?
So, I mean, I only thought Swayze. I didn't think anyone else.
You didn't think Keanu could be in
is
this
cool
film?
enough.
It's all about pots. I mean, come on.
yeah,
It's made for him.
Unless he's the fan of Led Zeppelin, and it's a very young Keanu. I think Swayze for me would be the only one.
Yes,
into the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
You're
went
up.
Swayze as sort of one of the band, probably instead of Earl or Jason Lee as
He's also known. Did you guys think? I thought I put Gosling could have been maybe the Jimmy Fallon character as the new band manager, and then I think Stone could have done Hudson. I thought.
I don't, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't agree with that.
I thought Hudson was really good in it, actually.
Yeah.
I think, her and Seymour Hoffman, I think, they were really good, both of them.
So, question for you both then, because I know we've discussed Seymour Hoffman a few times, and so maybe more so for you, Andy. But scene for scene, so obviously Philip Seymour Hoffman's not in lots of scenes in lots of films, and unfortunately he's passed away now. But scene for scene, do you think he is the best actor you've ever seen? Or he must at least in the top 5. Because if you just take his scenes he's in.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he's not the main character, easily. I mean, I've never seen any of the Hunger Games. I know it's your favourite book, Kev, and I presume we're going to watch it a lot.
Spot the Dog was a
season
front runner
2.
for a long time, but I bet that's taken over now.
But he's got to be up there.
Scene for scene.
I would say, and even if you compare him to some of the greats, and it's funny, we've watched a few sort of Al Pacino early films and stuff, and I'm interested in the Pacino, De Niro, what were they like before they were Pacino and De Niro, and obviously take The Godfather out because we're not going to agree on that, but they've both did some just weird movies that almost you're a bit what why are they famous, or why did they manage to then make other movies after this, whereas whenever Philip Seymour Hoffman is on screen, he's just electric, and we've talked about him stealing movies literally just with sort of 3 minutes on camera. And again,
is it the same role though?
Really,
so I do like him. I like him in everything he does, but actually this is almost the same role as in Dead Poets.
That's a good question.
30 years later.
Yeah, so is he
well, not Dead Poets. You're thinking Robin Williams.
No,
Scent of a Woman.
Scent of a Woman.
Scent of a Woman.
Go.
Yeah. Scent of a Woman.
Scent of a Woman. Yeah, just
True.
obviously, this is a lot earlier.
I guess that's a question, isn't it? Because if he only does a few scenes, and he does, you're right, Rob. If he played the same character, but it's only a few scenes, you don't get overexposed to that character. But you're right. If you actually look back at them, if you played them all back to back, would you think, why is he playing the same character? I don't know. Andy,
I don't think
words.
he.
Go.
Yeah, I don't think he is. If you think of him
50
sort of
podcasts,
Magnolia and Boogie Nights, similar. But then, something like Moneyball, where he's sort of, the coach, and he's sort of, fed up and stuff like that, I think is quite different. I think when you, In Doubt, obviously, he's one of the main characters, where he's the priest, that's quite different. Mission Impossible 3, he's great in that. Maybe one of the best villains of all time, and and he's just in that. And so
Jafar,
I think there's probably only there's only probably 4 or 5, but isn't there only 4 or 5 characters ever? But this is very different to slightly creepy person on the side, I would say.
I don't know. He's always a bit creepy, isn't he? And is this why he doesn't really lead a lot? Because actually he's so intense. And he looks like he could go either way. Even when he's playing a funny guy in Moneyball, you think he could actually go the other way and bomb the stadium.
Yeah, just kill everyone. Yeah, yeah.
It's just got that glint of madness in his eye. Yeah, no,
that's what makes him.
And then, like,
Yeah.
Capote obviously is then the one where he's like he leads the film completely, and I would say he kind of disappears within that role.
Anyway, that was I just suddenly thought that question, and I thought he's in a few of your films, and we always mention him, so I did wonder. But what about characters?
But no, I do think Kate. Well, I do think just to say Kate Hudson as Penny again. Like for me, like my reading of it is that she's so in music that almost as she'll sleep with the band members
because she's like, is that what you're saying?
No, it's just no, but like
you should have stuck with the recorder, Andrew.
if she does the overdose, does Russell then write the greatest song of all time? And I do think like she's so committed to the music, and like that's the way that I kind of read it, is that Kate Hudson, and I think because obviously they then end with her going to Morocco. I do think it is the way that I watch the film is like she has all of the power in the film, and she's not being used, and she's not being like anything else. It almost, when she says, "Oh, well, why doesn't he love me?" is almost like she's thinking still in a Band-Aid way of like he should leave his wife. I can make him great. Almost in like a Yoko Ono maybe in that kind of way. But like I think she's really great in it, because I do think she does have the power, and I do think it's an amazing performance that, as we sort of said beforehand, like she's not really given a role after this that is like as nuanced or has anything like right after this. It's kind of rom-com.
She gets
rom-com alley,
doesn't she?
Yeah. Whereas I think it's for such, and she was like 19 when she did this as well. So I think it's a great performance by her.
Yeah, no, I think she's
want to give her due.
Yeah.
So I mean, Kev, I know that you're going to say Russell for the character that you're most like, but that guy doing the Night Circus interview, just has to be said,
the one who falls asleep.
Similarities.
Yeah. I mean, if the content isn't rich, Andy, sometimes you just fall asleep. It's not my fault. We have to edit down these 4-hour podcasts to 1 hour.
Your part that you don't really remember.
Alvin and the Chipmunks in the background.
Exactly. Who did you guys go for then?
I was going to go for Philip Seymour Hoffman. I like the sort of the older Yoda, and I do like the name Lester Bangs. I thought that was a really good name.
Yeah,
I think you should change it.
Who was a real person?
Yeah,
was a real writer. Yeah, it's funny. This is definitely, obviously we're 98 episodes in, but I asked my wife which character she thought I was like, which clearly should have been what we've been doing for the entire series, and she did say, "Oh, the young writer boy from the magazine." And I was a bit like, "Oh, everyone wants to be one of the cool ones."
William, the cool uncool one. Yeah,
I just like the way that she describes it, the young writer boy.
Yeah. She's eased you in there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, obviously, that's
me and Rob are agreeing with that, so we'll move on.
Yeah.
So favourite lines then? I mean, lots of bangers, especially if you watch the 2-hour 40-minute version. But, Rob, do you have any good ones?
Yeah, well, obviously I did my sort of rebellious one. It did make me laugh when they're talking about Mojo and sort of, it takes 18 minutes per page. So it was obviously some sort of fax machine. Then it's revolutionary that sort of the 18 minutes per page.
Sends photos through the telephone.
Yeah. This is crazy.
And then the sort of, the Jagger one was quite funny as well. Just the irony of it.
Just, because what is he? Must be in his 70s. I mean, all credit to him, but I'm sure he must be in his 70s now.
He's like 80s now, isn't he?
Yeah.
But you think that joke was made in 25 years ago. I don't know if they're still if they're going to tour now without Charlie.
Yeah,
but it's the fact that Charlie's the one who went first.
When he kisses Penny Lane and goes, boldly go where many men have gone before. I thought, it's just like my sort of humour. That was quite funny.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
I mean, I just thought there were so many lines that described the pod. To be honest with you, I mean, all the great partnerships hate each other. It's not about money and popularity, although some money would be nice.
Yeah,
I can't stand here all day talking to my many fans.
Less accurate, but yeah.
I had "you are a dick" in that one.
Yeah, exactly. I can't believe it. I sound like a dick. You are a dick.
Yeah, there are two good lines.
I'm the you they get when they can't get you.
That was
all of these about the pod.
I thought that was actually very poignant. That was very good. Like when he was describing, like they're talking back and forth about his wife and or his girlfriend. Yeah, that was a good line. And
then let me say something no one else wants to say. Your looks have become a problem.
I mean, that's how he got My Name Is Earl. He was delivering the bangers after bangers, wasn't he? He did have some good lines.
And then I do. I mean, and again, not to go on, but like Lester Bangs with his when he says, "Oh, I'm glad you are home," and he just says, "I'm always home. I'm on call." I think is just one. Like an immortal line delivery. So.
Yeah. You guys are pretty much
any others that we didn't hear in your 4-hour extravaganza. I can't believe that you're criticizing one more of the films that's coming in, and you probably just watched more Almost Famous than there is Taiwanese.
I was about an hour in, and I checked it, and I was like 2 hours and 48. I was like, oh my god, I'm sure he said it wasn't this long. And then I watched it, and I remembered afterwards, like, I think I watched the wrong versions. There you go. Someone's got to watch the director's cut. There was one good line, other than ones you guys have said, all the really good ones. But the one from the mum where she's dropping him off the gig, or one of the gigs, and she just says, "An entire generation of Cinderellas, and there is no slipper coming." And I thought that was quite a good little line. I enjoyed that.
Called it.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
I do think we missed a trick having a family whistle as well, Andrew.
Warn us? To warn us if mum was nearby.
Have a family.
Why not? I did think though, like for the pod, I had one which was the only true currency in this bankrupt world is what you share with someone else when you're on call. And I just thought that sums us up. That sums season 1 up. Eventually we might get some fans, but currently we are where we are.
Well, just one day you'll be cool. Yeah. When season 2 begins.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe season 5. What about the reviews when we find our Russell, we've got the drummer and the bass player at the moment. We've got all the technicians sorted, lighting. Yeah. We just need the front man,
coach driver.
Yeah.
Well, so the reviews, split. I would say a lot of people like the music, but a lot of people are questionable. Someone just said fine if you're an adolescent, so obviously they're a little bit older. Someone said I've loved this film since the first time I watched it, which I thought was a bit strange because obviously you're not going to love the film before you watched it. A lot of people seem to love this film, but personally I find it pretty boring. My opinion is just mine though, so you should make up your own mind and probably look at the majority of reviews rather than one individual's opinion.
Wow, why bother?
Have a backbone, mate.
But why bother writing that?
Why bother writing a 3-star review to then say but just ignore my review? Someone interestingly said there was no mention of it being a Blockbuster video.
What?
So they've bought it, presumably, and a Blockbuster video version of it has turned up at their house.
Oh, wow.
Which I would think would be epic.
That must be worth a lot of money now, surely.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You're not going to be able to watch it, but good. Someone
condone that sort of action, though, for the short fans.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. And have people selling your DVD.
Send it back.
Stealing our...
and rewind it as well.
That's one of Carla's movies that she hasn't brought back.
Yeah. 20 years later.
Someone said good movie for the time, and they left that review in 2016. So I couldn't work out whether they
the
meant
70s?
for 2000
Yeah, okay.
or for 1973. I wasn't sure about that. And then again, with kind of a review that strangely goes nowhere, for the part I played in the purchase of this project, I can only comment on this particular aspect. It was a gift request I secured for a friend of mine. I have never seen the movie itself, nor did I open the package. It went directly to him just as I received it. Subsequently, everything done from my end was more than satisfactory to me. So that's literally a 3-star review of buying someone else a DVD and sending it straight to them. And just, yeah.
I mean, where is Blockbuster?
Not sure why you would leave that review. So, double feature. So, Rob, yeah, funnily enough, I had Ferris as well as a potential.
It's almost like you guys are related.
Yeah, just because I think, again... just again, though, but Ferris is also very much just about, like, the moment and, like, you know, that kind of no consequences and, you know, just having fun in the moment. But then in the end, I went for Still Crazy, which is a smaller movie, which is about a touring band that kind of get back together. Jimmy Nail famously in it leads it, and it's a British film, but it kind of captures basically the band get back together again. Bill Nighy as well as like the main character, and it's very similar to this, but it's a really, really good film. So I'd recommend it.
I think amazingly, I'd never thought that Jimmy Nail would get mentioned in this podcast, and somehow he has been mentioned more than once. I mean, credit to him.
Yeah,
I think once as a singer, which is just crazy. So, but there you go. Well done, Jimmy.
My Jimmy Nail pod needs more listeners.
Yeah.
So,
no, good luck to him. Why not? Okay. Well,
what did you have, Kev?
I went for This Is Spinal Tap. So the mockumentary of the documentary, basically. So yeah. I don't know if it might be too much. It might be too much, but yeah, I thought it might be quite interesting to see what it was supposed to be like versus an absolute parody of what it was actually like, and maybe see how different they actually are, or how accurate they are together. Very similar, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So for the algo, what did you?
Well,
what did you have here?
I had Dazed and Confused, and then Licorice Pizza I went for as well. I thought that, you know, it's that same sort of vibe, and that's kind of where I got to. I was trying to find another one. I couldn't find another one that I thought was good. I mean, I know I said about the TV version, the Days in the Six, but yeah, that was it really. I mean, Dazed and Confused feels very close, and then I don't know. What's the
Algo had Dazed and Confused. It had Fast Times as well. Funnily enough, it had Empire Records, which I thought was interesting from a Madcap point of view. And then it had That Thing You Do, which you wouldn't have seen. This is a Tom Hanks movie. Yeah,
I have seen that,
and then Sing Street,
but that's
as well.
That doesn't feel accurate, right? That's very upbeat, and I was like, no, it's not. It's not the same as this. Not that this is downbeat, but it's a different type of movie to that.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I think it went for like, well, interesting music. That it had Dazed and Confused and Fast Times, but then also went for That Thing You Do and Sing Street, which is sort of very music driven. So I think it got a bit just confused.
Wanted to send you too many. Sometimes you can only get 2, and you stop at 2, and that's where you do it. You know.
I mean, to be fair, I ask it for 5, but
it still only gives you 4.
So
he's so rebellious.
I think, funnily enough, I'm going to give it to you for Licorice Pizza, just because actually I think that's that's the vibe that it's going for.
I think it is, right? Like, I could see both of those. If I showed someone both those films and said, "Oh, these are 2 documentaries," I could see someone would watch them as documentaries and not question it. Yeah, they're both very interesting.
Nice. So you're up to 49 then. Will you break the 50? I mean, yes. At least one of the movies that we've still got to go is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to have to dive into your depths of knowledge about Taiwanese.
I know. I've got to get it before we get to that, otherwise we're all in trouble. Yeah.
Edward discography will be.
This reminds me of a 1950 time. Tell us about that one, Kev. Good question. I don't think we've got time.
So Kev, where have you put it in your list? It feels like it's going to be fairly sort of middle of the pack.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, in the good section in 42, below Philadelphia and above Fifth Element. Yeah, I enjoyed it. But like Rob, I didn't think it was amazing. Yeah, it was good watching it again, and I definitely feel like I got something different watching it this time. But yeah, just good for me.
Because it was the extended edition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was like so much I hadn't seen before.
Definitely got an extra 35
like at
minutes.
least 35 minutes. Yeah, it was really random, guys. Like you should watch this film again. So yeah, 42 for me.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Okay, and then Rob, so talk us through. I mean, you have been your time on the pod has been very IP driven, it has to be said. But talk us through your list. Presumably, this is at the it probably won't be at the bottom.
Well, so I'm going in reverse order. So Sneakers still holds the bottom place.
The worst high scene
this comes
in the world.
Yeah.
Let's move really slowly.
And then this
tension building.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and it was Sneakers, Slow Heist, Almost Famous, Alvin and the Chipmunks. It was just like annoying. Then I went for Fellowship.
Yeah.
Then Rogue One. Then Empire Strikes Back. Two Towers, Return of the Jedi, Return of the King, and then top is still Star Wars. Even though it's been ruined for me, but I have to stick with my first love.
Brilliant. I mean, why not? You know, I no longer
I'm
like
never going to watch it again, but I'm not going to stick with it.
Still my favourite. I mean, if ever there was a reason to have a top 100, Yeah, wow.
You're ruining this entire podcast, just been about ruining your favourite movie.
Star Wars.
Our siblings.
Well, luckily enough, 70 of my favourite films don't make it onto Andrew's list. So.
Yeah, we're all there, Rob. Don't worry about that.
It's more overlap than everyone would think. Including
not really.
Sir Jason Statham hasn't had a battering yet.
Oh, you wait. Top 10 season 2. Did you know he did 10 films? Because he has.
Do you need to do them in order? Are they all in the same universe? Is there going to be Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
I link all the universes for you. Don't worry. I've got a diagram. I'll send it to you guys.
Okay, so Bob, why should this be my number one? My number one favorite film?
Well, if you're a fan of 70s music, then this would be the film for you.
Ooh, it's short and sweet.
And that's it.
That's it. I'm trying to work out.
Because I'm not a great fan.
Is that more or less effort than Freddie and Woody? I think definitely less.
I mean, Freddie said that Tick Tick Boom should be my favourite movie because it's quite like real life and it's a musical.
Well,
so I think it's definitely
quite like
less than
your real life. Let's just be clear on that.
Yeah, exactly. I did wonder whether this musically, out of all the ones on your list, if this is the one.
You got to wait. You got to watch Gross Point Blank. That was an absolute banger.
Yeah, because all of the songs are from the same year. They're really not.
Well, they definitely are. Fact check later.
Yeah. No, this is definitely up there. It is a great soundtrack, but there's a few. Gross Point Blank is.
Yeah. I think for me, there's great songs in this, but Gross Point Blank used the music as part of the scenes. I think that's where it gets the edge for me. But yeah, you should watch it, Rob, and let us know.
Well, I think because that's the thing. This is like 60s and 70s music. Gross Point Blank is 80s music. Yeah. Empire Records is 90s music. Yeah. High Fidelity is kind of the 2000s music. So I think all of the decades are kind of covered. I have seen Simon and Garfunkel live.
Oh yeah,
and I do. Yeah,
were they on Pops?
That was really good.
as probably
for like rheumatism and
Can you
like,
imagine
bad
that?
backs and stuff by the time I saw
Yeah,
them.
I remember my sister had a NWA album that she bought that my parents like kicked off massively about. You know, very different to Simon and Garfunkel. You can't listen to
Yeah,
that.
it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny when she says, well, it's just about, what did she say? It's just about taking drugs and sex, and she's like, this is poetry, and she's like, yeah, poetry about taking drugs and having sex. You're like, yeah, okay, fair point.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
cool. Well, yeah, we continue on then. 2 films still on the list.
Yeah.
Thanks to Tom Miller for the theme song. Thanks for coming down again to the shop, and yeah, we'll see you next week.